Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Welcome to Messy. This is Jamie.
And Christina
and
Applegate.
There it is. And we have a wonderful guest today. Christina, you know how you have those like handful of people that you've met in this business that you just are like, they're just a good person. Like, this is somebody that's not only incredibly talented and smart and creative and successful, but they're also like a really good person. There's not a lot of those around. You know what I mean? This guy we have today is one of them.
Just kidding. No, I've actually been very fucking lucky to have worked with kind of the best humans on the planet, regardless of their resumes, just the best humans. So I'm really happy to hear that this person is a good human, because apparently there's a lot of people that suck out there. I haven't met them yet. Well,
good for you. I've only met a few, but I was lucky enough to work with our guest. His name is Craig Thomas. He's an Emmy-nominated producer and writer, created one of the most beloved comedies of all time on television, How I Met Your Mother, which I got to guest on many, many moons ago, and how our relationship began. And let's just welcome him to the show. Welcome, Craig Thomas.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm such a fan
Craig.
of you both. I'm a fan of the show. I'm really honored to be here. And thanks for those kind words. That was really nice. I appreciate it.
Oh,
I might ask you for a loan. I mean, I just, show creators, I just always want a loan. I don't know why.
You know what? You got it. I don't even need to know the amount. I'm saying yes without any
I always ask for $6 million.
Okay.
I ask Ed O'Neill for $6 million every time I talk to him, and he laughs at me. But anyway,
that Modern Family money.
Yeah. By the way,
honey.
That's probably, you got to start there, then work your way down to How I Met Your Mother after that.
No. Well, I have to tell you, Craig, before we start, of all the things I've done, which is not like a fuck ton, but I've been on some successful TV shows. The number 2 thing that I get recognized for or acknowledged for is the Woo Girl.
That's amazing. You're saying Sopranos 1, I'm guessing.
Correct.
And Woo Girl is way up at 2?
It's number 2.
That's
It's
wild.
Number 2. People love it. They felt very seen and represented by her and her culture. And it was truly one of the most fun times that I've ever had.
You were so good as the Woo Girl. I was remembering the idea that she was a kindergarten teacher by day, and then this sort of nocturnal transformation happened at night, almost like a werewolf at the full moon, where she became the Woo Girl. And it's just you were so hilarious on it. I'm thrilled to hear that is way up there of things people say to you. That's crazy, but understandable.
Well, how could it not?
I am so sorry to say I didn't see you on there, Jamie. But sorry. I want to know so much about Woo Girl, but maybe that's another conversation that we'll talk about, because I'm now fascinated. I'm going to start looking at clips.
Go for it.
One of the first things we do to kind of kick off our podcast, and you said you do listen, is that a question that I always ask, because I find it so fascinating, is who was little Craig? Who is 8-year-old Craig? If you could close your eyes and look down at your shoes, because I really feel that shoes really say something about the time, who you were, what kind of people you hung out with. What were your shoes like? And what TV shows were you watching? What music were you listening to? Who was little Craig? Because I love the question, because we get so many beautiful answers from people.
Yeah. That's a great question. Probably some type of Keds or Converse sneakers that were beat the hell up from playing baseball with my dad. So where I am when I'm looking at these shoes and I'm 8 is in Long Island. So I hope Jamie unfreezes at some point and can hear this, because I think I grew up 20 minutes from Jamie in a town called Port Washington. She's from, I believe, Jericho. Am I right about this? And so there I was. I'm a little older than her, so she was probably just 1 when I was 8 or something like that. But yeah, there I was, Port Washington, Long Island, the suburbs. My dad commuted into the city to go to work. I would play baseball with him when he would get home. That was our sort of best bonding time. My shoes were definitely beat up from biking and baseball. Climbing this fence over into the creek. Basically, my house was on the woods on a cliff. and we would like climb this metal rusty fence. We're like 8 and 9 years old and jump over to run around the edge of a cliff with tons of like woods and like ticks and like a huge drop off cliff. And
So much limes. So much Lyme
disease. And like this huge crater in the earth was right behind my house called the Sand Pits. It's like where they dug out all the sand to make like Jones Beach and other things in Long Island. We're talking Long Island, Jamie. Have you heard all of this? You were frozen for a while, but basically I grew up 25 minutes from you.
Yeah, of course. This is like all I know.
Yeah. And just like the crazy shit we would do, just riding like our like BMX dirt bikes, jumping stuff. Our parents, no idea where we were. I would like flip that bike jumping off like like dirt bike jumps and land on my head. My daughter's 9 now. And I cannot conceive of like the amount of freedom that I had at that age. I don't know what's the thumbs down to, Christina? Is it thumbs down to how we used to be or how we are now? I can't tell which is good or which is bad.
I'm just saying because I'm a parent and I'm 53.
Yeah, I'm 50.
And fuck no is my kid going to be doing what I was doing.
Right? Yes. Okay. That's what I thought you were signifying.
No way.
Why do things feel less safe now, even though we can track our kids and everything that they do?
That's a really good question. Do we know too much? We've learned too much via the internet. We know too many things that can go wrong. And so it's always been the same amount that could go wrong, but we're more aware of what could go wrong or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my life. Like getting lost in the suburbs of Long Island in Jamie's neck of the woods. And, it was like a suburban upbringing. I dreamed of moving to New York City. And I think I was a little comedy nerd, even at around 8 or 9. Not too many years older than that. I was a super fan of Married with Children. So I'm a little bit, you may get a little starstruckness out of me here today, Christina, because I'm a huge fan. No, that's no joke at all. I loved that show. And yeah, man, I was dreaming. I wanted to go be a writer for David Letterman. That was like my dream. And I actually got to do it. I graduated college. My writing partner, Carter, who co-created How I Met Your Mother with me, we went to college. I went to Wesleyan University in Connecticut. I met Carter, my writing partner, and my wife, Rebecca, and basically left college with like my 2 life partners, like just kind of lined up, and it held up pretty well.
Wow.
And Carter and I became writers for David Letterman when we were like 22. We were like working on spec material in senior year of college. We had gotten some stuff to an agent. Miraculously, that became our agent. That's still my agent, Matt Rice at UTA. He's been our agent for like 30 years. Like it's just everything is so, it's crazy how old we all are now. But it worked. A lot of those like 8-year-old like dreams. Oh, the other thing that was 8-year-old Craig, and I'm glad you're unfrozen again for this, Jamie, Mets super fan. Fucking Mets super fan. The 86 Mets, I'm 11 years old. It's still one of the happiest moments of my life. Sometimes I call it the happiest moment of my life, and my wife and children are like, fuck you. It's still a baseball game from when you were the 6th game of the World Series in 1986 is your happiest moment, not your wedding. And so I have to be like, I backpedal. It's one of the happier moments. But goddamn it, and I know you are a Team Dykstra, and you are therefore Team Mets. I assume you grew up Team Mets, being out on the island, because it's right.
Yes.
You're like, no, good. I was like afraid.
My dad was born in Queens, so he was Mets. My mom is from Washington Heights in the city, so she was Yankees. But my dad was like, that's cute, but my children are Met fans.
I was lucky because it was all, my dad was like a San Francisco or, a New York Giants fan. They went to San Francisco, and like my mom, like basically everything led to the Mets. There was no Yankees. In my book, there's some trash talk about the Yankees and pro Mets talk in my novel, which you may have caught and thought about because you had to
sneak that in there.
I had to sneak that in. Yeah. It's got in some really cheap shots of the Yankees. But yeah, that was 8-year-old me.
You know, what's cool is like a lot of the wonderful comedians and writers that we've interviewed, like Judd Apatow and Jimmy Kimmel and yourself, all of you said one of your first dreams was to write for David Letterman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that what Judd said too? That's really interesting. That's really cool. And I know Jimmy idolized like Davis is his god. And he would, I would stay up. I was tired every day in high school. Every morning of high school, I was tired because I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning watching the old late night show, which was really a bonkers show. And I really think Conan's show really inherited that mantle after Dave's show went to 11:30. By the way, you guys talking to Conan, both on his show and your show, A+. I loved those talks so much. I love him so much. He's really one of my idols too. He didn't become a thing till I was like 18 years old, so I can't say that was 8-year-old Craig. But my love of like how freaking weird Late Night with David Letterman was, like a mad scientist laboratory vibe, that translated over to Conan. And even at the time I was writing for Letterman, I was probably at that point a bigger Conan fan, if I'm being honest, even though I love Dave and he's also my idol. But Conan's show was so wonderfully weird. You were on it a bunch, Christina, right? Like, that was like the best. That era.
have been on Conan more than any other person. No, and that's actually not a joke. Like, he told me that during the thing. He's like, we looked back that you've been on more than pretty much anyone ever. And it's because, like, you know, if someone canceled, he'd just call and be like,
get over here.
Well, I mean, he personally wouldn't call me. It's before we became friends, but like, they'd be like, do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll spend an hour with that guy, or, 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes with that man any day of the week. So I always made it a point to like be there because it was fun. Because he's, what I loved about his interviews is that, you can stick to a script, and a lot of them do, right? They stick to like the pre-interview and the thing. And if you go off it, then they get confused and they don't know how to kind of roll with you. Conan and I never got to a question. I think ever.
That's the best type of interview. You're just like yes-anding each other the whole time.
Like one question, he'd like interrupt me, I'd interrupt him. We'd just go back and forth and banter and have the most fun. And I loved it. Yeah. That was my favorite.
He's my favorite Conan guest.
Sorry, I mean, I love you, Jimmy.
No, I know it's so tough.
Have to say I love you, Jimmy, because
I'm sitting
really
here feeling guilty that I said I liked Conan so much when I was writing for Letterman. I idolized Letterman. I'm up in my head now too about this whole thing. We're insulting late night hosts left and right. We don't mean to be. They're all great.
Let me ask you a question, because How I Met Your Mother is such an incredible concept, but how did you know you could maintain that for as many seasons as you did? Because do you know what I'm trying to say?
We didn't know what the fuck
I don't know if what I'm trying to say is
we didn't know. No, I know what you mean. It's like a high concept. How is that going to stretch out? How does a story a dad's telling his kids in 2030 as they sit on a couch last 9 years? And that was kind of like the meta joke of like, this is the longest story ever told. This like Scheherazade. These kids are literally aging on this couch. And, we borrowed from movies like The Princess Bride, just that framing device of it's a story being told and there's a whole universe within that story, right? Like Peter Falk and young Kevin Arnold, why not my Fred Savage? I'm going for Wonder Years now. But that movie is all about a grandfather telling a story to a kid. And then within that story, there's this incredible hero's journey. But just that idea of like a parent or a grandparent sharing something with their kid. And we thought, when you want your children to understand you, that's like such an important thing as a parent, right? You want to explain yourself somehow to your kids. And we thought we can make that last because it's a life story. It's him saying to these kids, future Ted in the year 2030, voiced by Bob Saget, R.I.P., the much missed and wonderful Bob Saget. And he's just trying to explain what his life was before them. And we thought there's a whole universe in that. Just, it's so relatable. He can tell his whole life story up until he meets the mother. And that will be hopefully 100 episodes. We were like, we can get 100 episodes out of that. We did 208 episodes. If we'd finished at 100, we would have like barely gotten to the Woo Girl, I think. Or maybe we wouldn't have gotten to the Woo Girl. And I'm very glad that we got there. But yeah, when we first pitched the show, we were like, we just pretended we knew what we were doing. We had never run a show. We'd never even been like writers on a proper sitcom. We'd written for Dave Letterman. We'd written for American Dad, like animation. We'd written a couple like single cams that kind of came and went. And when we did How I Met Your Mother, I have no idea why they handed the keys to the car of running a show to Carter and I. We looked 5 years old. We were like these 29, 30-year-old just novices. And we just got so lucky that anyone took us seriously enough to let us do it. It really felt like a mistake had been made. Why are we allowed to do this?
No, but there was such an alchemy like on that set and with that cast and with that crew and even the studio executives. Like there was just such a belief in what you were doing because it was beyond just comedy. And the reason why I think certain comedies stand the test of time and last so long is because there was so much heart. There was still so much humanity, and so like there was still just such a beautiful lesson. Like this is the way our favorite TGIF shows would have every Friday. There was just, and you wanted to be a part of this group of friends, and you felt like you were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we always tried to write it so that every episode had some deeper emotional truth to it, even if there were insane things like the Woo Girl in it. There was some deeper emotional truth in the best episodes anyway. It's kind of the only way we know how to write. It's so hard to just write jokes all the time. Writing jokes is super hard. We're not that funny. We wanted to write little half-hour dramas. Like really, if you watch How I Met Your Mother, it's like the most emo sitcom ever written. It's not that many jokes. It's like, I think it's a funny show. I'm proud of the jokes in there, but we always made room for there to be something else happening in those episodes.
You did.
I know that's my favorite. Josh Radner and I are doing a rewatch podcast. And that's
please tell us about the rewatch.
We're doing this rewatch podcast, How We Made Your Mother. Josh Radner and I are going back through, and invariably the thing I'm loving the most is the dramatic moments and the sweet moments and the moments where you're like, that's what that episode was really about. Even that really stupid, silly episode, there was something there to hang your hat on. And that's kind of what I'm proudest of about that show.
I don't have my crap together as much as I try. But you know what's the one thing I am consistent with, that I'm proud of, that starts my day off right? My morning routine. And what I'm talking about is AG1, because with AG1, it positively impacts my day. I am getting the vitamins, the adaptogens, the energy, the greens that I need to fire on all cylinders. And now AG1 is going to take care of our nighttime routine with AGZ. AGZ is a nightly drink that helps you wind down and rest up. So now I'm going to bookend my days, and now I feel like I'm really going to be flying high, because AGZ is a melatonin-free formula with clinical studied herbs, adaptogens, and minerals. Their herbal flavor, it puts me in that wind down mindset. There's no artificial flavors. There's no artificial sweeteners, no added sugar. I like to drink it warm. I like to put a little milk in there, to be honest, to make it feel like a little bit of a treat. I stopped taking my magnesium, by the way, and any of my other sleep supplements, because this is doing the job. And listen, we all know the importance of sleep. Sleep at night defines your tomorrow. And when I get a good night's sleep with my AGZ, it is helping me optimize my sleep quality and wake up feeling rested and not groggy. So if you're ready to turn down the stress and focus on the rest, head to drinkag1.com/messy to get a free frother with your first purchase of AGZ. That's drinkag1.com/messy. That's amazing. So in your rewatching right now for the podcast, are you, I'm sure you're brought back to also many personal moments that was going on during that time. And your son Elliot was born during that time, and as well was diagnosed with something called Jacobsen Syndrome. So I would love if you're willing to just share with us what that experience was like. I can only imagine so incredibly difficult and life-changing, obviously.
It was all of those things. And I want to say, like, I love this podcast because you guys get so real about things, and you talk to people, you talk to comedy people, and you get to very real things, which again is my favorite tone. It's what How I Met Your Mother was, or aspired to be. But so between year 2 and 3 of How I Met Your Mother, and I was like 31 or something, we were really kids when we launched this. And between year 2 and 3, Elliot was born, and it really changed our lives because it was our first kid, and we had no idea that anything was wrong. Like the testing at that time, the sort of basic testing that my wife was like 29, 30 years old at the time, it didn't show anything suspicious or weird happening in there. And then he was born, and he weighed much less than we thought. And it was weird. And it was immediately kind of an emergency. Basically, he was like 3 pounds, 11 ounces, not breathing properly. And everyone was like clearly shocked. The doctors were shocked. Like it was not what anybody expected. And it turned out, and this wasn't found for almost a week. He got put in the NICU and he wasn't breathing right. He wasn't able to his oxygen saturation level wasn't right, but no one knew why. And they said, it's viral pneumonia. He inhaled meconium. All these theories, all of them were wrong. Finally, after like a week of him really not doing well, somebody thought to look at his heart. And they looked at his heart, and it was one of those moments you can pinpoint in your life where like, this is my life changing. Like, you know it in the moment. This is my life changing. And there were two of these moments. One of them was when the guy just doing the echo of his heart just went, oh. And it was one of those moments where you go, I don't think that's a good oh. I do not think that's a good
they're not supposed to do that, by the way. They're
I know,
but
he let it slip.
Any body language or breathe deeply or do anything. So for someone to go, oh,
yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
Exactly. It's not good. And then he kind of caught himself, Christina, and he kind of went, oh, well, it's just, I think I know what's going on now. And I was like, what? He's like, well, the doctor will have to tell you. And then we had to like wait for the doctor to come around, but he had already like let it slip. And it turned out Elliot had 4 different heart defects.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Requiring open heart surgery. So that's an open heart surgery on basically a 2-week-old with who weighs 3 pounds, 11 ounces, and rewiring these teeny tiny veins that they described as like the size of dental floss. And this amazing surgeon. And you know what's weird? Bring it back to Jimmy Kimmel. The same surgeon who did the heart surgery on Jimmy Kimmel's son is the guy who saved my son's life. This amazing surgeon, Dr. Von Starnes at Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. They saved my son's life. And I'll be forever grateful to them for that. The second big moment, though, was we were popping the champagne after this heart surgery, which was really 50-50 odds. Like, Elliot really could have not made it. By the way, Elliot's 18 years old right now. I'm going to do a How I Met Your Mother style freeze frame and flash forward to make everybody feel
awesome.
a little better about
Elliot!
it all. I'm realizing I'm getting very heavy and very fast. Elliot's 18 and he's fucking kicking ass, and we'll get to that. And that's kind of what my novel is about too. But okay, unfreeze. Now we're going to flash back to 2007 again. The second crazy thing that was even more of a life-altering moment is we're celebrating the open heart surgery having been successful from this genius doctor. And then we get a knock on the door and they go, the geneticist wants to speak to you. And we go, okay, send her on in. And they go, she's booked a private room to have this conversation with you. And you walk down the longest hallway. It's like one of those like shots where the hallway's stretching out. It's getting longer. There's dark shadows at the end. And you walk all the way to the door and you go in, and it's clearly the bad news room. You know what I mean? They've set aside a room to tell you bad shit, and there's no windows, and there's like a box of Kleenex. And you're like, I don't want to be in this room. This is not the good news room. And
Craig, it's either the room that's the bad news room or it's the room that guys give their specimens.
Yeah.
Sorry, if there's Kleenex in there.
I would hate to think
it's kind of one or the other.
Now that you mention it, I can't unsee it. It probably is both, but let's just move past it.
This is how my brain thinks, and this is why I shouldn't conduct interviews.
No, It's hilarious. That's a solid joke. Don't apologize for a good guys jerking off in the bad news room bit. That's hilarious. This was the bad news. And the geneticist basically says, your son has this rare genetic deletion. A little piece of one of the 11th chromosomes is missing. That explains all of the heart stuff and all of the other things that will be wrong with him. And then she proceeds to read out like a Google printout, like basically like WebMD or Google, because she's never seen anybody with Jacobsen syndrome, because it is very, very rare. And she starts to just read us off those things. And you guys know this. When you get a diagnosis, I know you guys must know this all too well. If you look up just one set of all possible things that could go wrong, you think you're being told every one of those things. My kid is going to have every one of those things.
Wait,
again, not
I'm sorry.
true.
If my doctor Googled,
well, she goes, I've never seen anyone. I've never actually
symptoms?
seen anyone with it. Yeah, we got very. Yeah, we didn't get the best information, and it was not delivered with amazing bedside manner. But basically, we got painted the darkest portrait of, your son is going to have, be a special needs child. He's going to have severe intellectual disabilities. Maybe he'll walk. Maybe he'll talk. Like, we got the grimmest prognosis. By the way, my son Elliot is a kick-ass drummer. I see you're wearing a Led Zeppelin t-shirt today, Christina. Elliot can drum along to Stairway with the fucking best of them. And
I had a fight with my
yeah.
daughter in the car today about Ramble On.
Ramble On. Come on, that's
because we both agree that Lover You Should Have Come Over is the best song that ever existed by Jeff Buckley. But I was like, but my second one is Ramble On. She goes, why, Mom?
Oh, I love Ramble On.
There's so many songs like that.
What about
and I said,
the bass line?
Yeah, why do you think there are so many songs like that? It starts with leaves are falling all around.
Oh my God.
Time to find my way. And then you're like,
oh my God. I love that song. I learned to play drums playing along to that album. And then I taught my son drums.
Sorry, I'm going to shut up. I'm talking too much. I've had too much caffeine.
No, I love
this. Bing bong.
But so, like...
Nope, I'm out.
My son... All right, good talking to you, Christina. my son... she just goes, she slams the laptop.
I'm done.
He's so... This is my way of saying, I wish I could have looked into a crystal ball in that bad newsroom and seen how many great things my son was going to bring into my life and how much joy. But at that moment, it was a jump off a bridge moment. My wife... who is the tough one of our couple. My wife is a far tougher person than me, burst into tears. And she's just losing it. And this woman, and like, unfortunately, this woman used the R word. Your son will be what you would think of as retarded, which again, in 2007 was still not a cool word to say. And it's even worse now. But it's like, don't say that. She just did not know how to talk to us about this. And we stumbled our way like out of that room and back to our home, and a very dear friend of ours came over and like started doing research and found the worldwide specialist in Jacobsen Syndrome, who was in UCSD in San Diego, Rady's Children's Hospital. It's an amazing guy. I still raise money for it to this day, Dr. Paul Grossfeld. And we were living in LA. So the expert in this condition was an hour and a half drive away. So as the weeks and months passed, we went down there and met with him and learned a lot more and got more things to be hopeful about. And that began this 18-year journey. And the weirdest thing, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this because it's so weird to do comedy, to be doing the business we all do and have done. I began this life where we're launching season 3 of How I Met Your Mother. My son has been 6 weeks in the NICU. He has a Frankenstein scar down his chest. I've been told all these terrible things about how many problems he's going to have in life. And then it's like, all right, let's get back in the writer's room and make some funny. For season 3 of How I Met Your Mother, we got there, this train waits for nobody. Get going. And it's me and Carter trying to run this show that we're still learning how to do. And I had this feeling that I was driving to a sitcom and then driving home to like a dark hour drama that was my life. And it was the weirdest thing to try to balance those two things. Now, I imagine you guys at different moments would relate to that. I feel like I've heard you on this podcast talk about that weird, like, and also I have that thing of how much do I want to tell everybody? I've heard you guys talk about this too. Do I want all the executives, all the people signing my paycheck? Do I want the 200 people that work on How I Met Your Mother to all know every part of what's going on with me and my son? It's so vulnerable. Will my bosses at the studio and the network look at me differently? Will they think I can't be funny anymore? Will my actors, will my director, will people look at me differently if they really know? So I wouldn't always tell everybody the full story, and I had a really hard time sharing it. I feel like I've heard you guys talk about that. It's so different for you because it's like, for you guys, it's your actual physical bodies. I'm talking about my son, but like that feeling of like, how vulnerable can I be in this business when I'm trying to still function and like get work in this business, right? It's a really, I felt all of those things.
I feel for you so much in that. And I think that like the specificities of like all of those things can be different, but the feelings that we're getting are universal. And I think that's, what we're trying to do here in this podcast and what you've been doing now with your storytelling, which is just such a gift because these moments in life that shape us and pivot us and, redirect in many ways can be the greatest gift in some ways. And I know that we have this like beautiful 18-year-old magical Elliot in front of us, but I can imagine the path that you've been on being incredibly difficult. And for Christina and I, I've had MS for 25 years. When I did How I Met Your Mother, I wasn't telling anyone. The only person that knew on that set was Pam, the director. Yeah. And I think having just somebody look after me and just, just get Jamie a chair, not telling them why, but just, having my back. But really trying to learn how to navigate living with a disability because I didn't know how to advocate for myself yet because I just didn't know what I needed.
Yeah.
But as a parent, I can imagine, not that comes easier, but like you're not wanting to hide it as much as like get ahead of it and see what your child needs. So I would love your perspective too of just as raising a son with a disability, as Christina and I are still on this path of trying to accept what our new reality is and accept our life and our circumstances. What are some of the greatest gifts and things that you have learned from that experience?
Yeah, well, starting right at that moment I left off on is I wish I told everyone everything immediately. Do you know what I mean? And just like did the trust fall, just fucking did it. And people catch you, and people come out of the woodwork to catch you that you don't know are going to come catch you. Are there some who you feel less connected to? Are there people you wish were there catching you that maybe don't know how to catch you? Yeah, there's that too. And it's weird. And it's weird. You do find your tribe, right? Like I think that's why this podcast speaks to me so much, and why your guys' friendship and bond speaks to me so much, because my wife and I called it the Been Through Some Shit Club. And there's a certain language of been through some shit.
I think that Jamie and I need to rewrite our books and change the title to the Been Through Some Shit.
Yeah. Or just a little stamp on our books.
Yeah, like, you know, at the bottom
seal,
with like a
like
little,
a
like a
club.
seal, like Been Through Some Shit Club. And then you could have it too. And then it's gold.
It's definitely gold. I'm picturing like embossed gold, like a seal.
And
yes.
Obama like approves it.
It's an award. It feels like a medal. It has an Olympic medal vibe because that's what we're fucking doing all day long, is just fucking the Olympics. Like, and you start to spot the people who speak that been through some shit language. Jamie, when I met you and worked with you, I had this feeling like, I think I told you a fair amount about Elliot during the brief time we worked together. I just had this feeling like I could talk to you about things. We also tried, we so wanted to put you in a pilot. We had you come in 100 times for a pilot.
You guys were so good to me in that process.
About that. You should have been in that pilot.
Honestly, it's like, you have like the one job that like just haunts you, because I wanted not just to get it, but to be good for you guys.
No, you were great. You were great. It's this business. This business is maddening.
Wait, you were great, but you didn't get it? Is that what you're trying to fucking
she
tell
came in
her,
so
Craig?
like
Jesus,
we wanted. She was our top choice for the role. But yes,
but we bonded during that time. We bonded during that time.
And I always had this feeling like I could talk to you, even though I didn't know what you were going through. I think there's like a been through some shit spidey sense. You can kind of tell like someone is going through that. And when you meet people and you can talk to them in that language, and you both are conversant in the dialect of shit, it's so nice, right? I know it sounds funny to say, but it's like such a healing thing, and you can have the deepest friendships from that, right?
You know, coming into the third season of Dead to Me, I mean, there was no hiding what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had MS when we started filming.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed about 2 months into filming, but there was no like hiding the fact that some fucked up shit was going on.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to have the support of my crew, because I've always built crews that are my friends. They are amazing people that I've worked with for 20, 30 years. I try to get everyone together. And also it was not to be a sexist, but it was run by women. So there's that.
No,
so there was an
that's
empathetic,
it. That's a big deal.
Thing. But
yeah.
To go to a set now, when I was on Married with Children, I was going through a lot of personal stuff, right? So and I'm talking to that part of like having to conceal stuff and go, let's do vaudeville and let's go do the shit. And you go home and cry, or you don't even go home and cry. You're crying in the car on the way home.
Yes.
Because what you're about to land on is awful. And I really do get that, Craig. I really do, because I did years of that shit. I played the game. I showed up on time and played the game, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, like, for when I had MS, blah, 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 to just be free and be like, hey guys, get your shit together with those props, because I'm about to fall. And they'd all be like, yeah, babe, we got you. And, everyone was supporting you. I think it's really important to be honest
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's huge.
Except for a lot of people don't want you to be honest, right?
Some people are really weirded out by by when you get really honest. But I think that's like the cost of doing business. That's the cost of doing emotional business. You have to do it anyway. If I could go back, I would be like full disclosure right away. And I'd probably try to carve out more space and time for my mental health rather than just like, being such a workaholic. And so much of it was on my wife. My wife is an amazing mother to Elliot. She did say and stick to this idea. She said, "You're running a TV show. I'm home with Elliot." Because I was saying, let's have another kid, like way too soon. I was saying that we'll have another kid, like also kind of manic and strange, like, and that kid won't be complicated at all, whatever, like fucking mythology was in my brain. And she was like, "Here's when we're gonna have another kid. When you finish How I Met Your Mother and we move back to New York and we're surrounded by all our family." She's a Brooklyn girl. I'm from Long Island. We're surrounded by everybody. That's when we can have another kid. And that is what we did. We moved back. We had another kid, my daughter Celia. And so there's a 9-year age gap between my two kids, but they get along great. He's so like innocent and sweet and youthful. He's a teenager who's never been a dick teenager for 1 second. He's just like the most kind-hearted, warm dude in the world. And he and his sister can play like they still play pretend. They run around playing pretend. Like he can still access that so easily. And it's been beautiful. But yeah, I think I would go back and really take it easier on my past self. I think I was just trying to be everything I was like trying to be everything everywhere and falling at least slightly short everywhere. You know what I mean? There was not a lot of like self-care. I would have gotten into therapy sooner. I would have gotten into like yoga sooner. I just would have moved everything up by a while that then helped me through, 6 more years of doing 24 episode seasons of How I Met Your Mother. But everyone there really, once I really shared it all, the cast was great. Pam Fryman, who you just said, our wonderful director, directed almost all the episodes. If you were going to tell one person when you were shooting Woo Girl, you picked the right person to tell. She is the most nurturing, and Christina's right. Pam was our director for the whole run. Susie Greenberg was our producer for the whole run. Women running shit in the production made that show very nurturing and very warm. And I'm so happy that's who really was calling the shots there.
Moms be dicks too, by the way. I'm just that's just my own personal thing. Okay, sorry, that was
you're right about that.
That's an aside.
But
I love you, Nance Pritz. Oh boy.
So as Elliot grew, and you would you be faced with, as he was developing, I would imagine, just like, was it a new stage of life where this was like maybe a new difficulty or a new hurdle? Like, how did you guys approach that as a family? How did you approach that with Elliot? And he's 18 now, so I can like, as a parent of any 18-year-old, right? That's like a very you equate it to like feeling like you're standing on a cliff. Like, what does this feel like? Do you feel like he's ready to like fly the coop? Can he? What is his life like, and how did he get there?
This is what my novel is about, which because you were kind enough to read it. And my novel, by the way, we've had very heavy talks here, which I love, but I will say my novel is, I hope, funny.
It's so funny.
The whole premise
but it's you write funny with heart. It's your beautiful talent. And
thank you.
And thank you, because I felt seen in these moments, like even you just talking about walking down that hallway to that room. Right? Yeah. It feels like such an isolated experience. It feels like you're in a tunnel by yourself. You feel like you haven't experienced this and nobody else has, but there's such community, and there's such shared experience in these difficult moments. And I think one of the greatest ways to do that is through storytelling. So this is why I'm so happy to have you here and to talk about this book. So now I won't interrupt anymore.
Yeah, no, you guys are doing it with this podcast. You're doing that thing. That's actually what you're doing too. And that's why I like this so much. It is so lonely at first. It is so lonely. It's a rare syndrome, what he had. There was no one else that we knew of in Los Angeles. We didn't have any other parent friends we were some of the first people in our group to have kids. We were still pretty young. We didn't have other parent friends that had kids with different disabilities or different challenges. We felt so alone. So alone. I definitely wrote this book for past me in a way. Like I wish there was a
of
book. I wish there
course.
was a funny book that's, because the book is irreverent about Hollywood. It's about a movie. It's about an inspiring movie being made from a memoir that a mom has written about their journey as a quote unquote special needs family. She has some problems, the character, with that term, which she gets into in the book. But that's what it is. And she writes this memoir. It becomes a bestseller. Hollywood buys the book and says, we're making a movie of your life. And the process of making a feel-good movie about this family's life almost destroys the family because the movie gets so bastardized and twisted and turned. And whose story was this really? And what's being changed? And what's the truth? And whose perspective? So there's a lot of fun. It jumps between 4 family members in this family: a mother, a father, a young adult with Down syndrome. I made a different syndrome from my son just to have a little distance from it, and something people have heard of more too. And then a younger sister who's like a senior in high school. And you switch between those 4 perspectives over and over and over in the book. So it's kind of low attention span theater in a good way. I hope it's very page turny and readable.
It is.
It's like little chunks, right? Little bit, you can, little sections.
This show is sponsored by Ridwell. Do you ever wonder what to do with all those plastic bags, the bubble wrap, plastic mailers, or the old cords piling up at home? Well, that's where Ridwell comes in. They make it so simple to recycle and reuse the stuff your regular bin won't take. I'm talking about things from soft plastics to clothes and batteries. Batteries, we never want to throw away our batteries. Well, now Ridwell has got you because they do easy doorstep pickups or mail-in kits that work anywhere in the U.S.
Ridwell makes sure everything you send actually gets reused or recycled, not shipped overseas or thrown away.
They work with more than 225 recycling and reuse partners across the U.S. and Canada, and 97% of what they collect stays out of the landfill. So you can even see exactly where it all goes on their website.
We've been using it now since we heard about it, and it's just amazing. You just put it in the bin outside, and they come, and it's gone, and you know that where they're going is a great place. Really, seriously, guys, I love this so much. It's been a game changer in our house.
We've been using Ridwell in our house to recycle so many different items. Old clothes, batteries, like I'd said, empty prescription pill bottles, things that you don't want to throw away in the garbage. So we just pack them all up, we put them in our Ridwell bag and set them out to get picked up. It's been such an easy, hopeful thing to add to our routine. So if you want to try it, go to ridwell.com/messy to get $10 off your first pickup or mail-in kit. That's RIDWELL.com/messy, because sometimes the best way to feel better is just to start with something small that matters. Support for Messy comes from Calm. Is anyone else feeling like this year is flying by way too fast? Like, that where did the time go anxiety? It's very real. And it can leave you feeling scattered and behind on things. Well, Calm gives you permission to slow down, even when everything else feels like it's speeding up. Calm is the #1 app for sleep and meditation, and it is here to help you feel better. If you're feeling like me, like you could use some support navigating life's ups and downs, get the relief you need with Calm sessions like guided meditations. They have ones that help you work through anxiety, stress, ones to boost your focus, build healthier habits, take better care of your physical health. They have sleep stories, sleep meditations, calming music. They have grounding exercises. And by the way, all of these can be a nice 20, 30 minutes or even a quick 5, like a reset you need in your car before you're walking in for a big meeting or an appointment or a stressful lunch you've been putting off forever. Calm has over 2 million 5-star reviews and can help you stress less, sleep more, and live mindfully. Calm your mind, change your life. Calm has an exclusive offer just for our listeners of our show. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/messy. This is an amazing value. Go to calm.com/messy for 40% off with unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Calm.com/messy, and tell Calm you heard about them from us. Was a book always what you wanted to be sort of your first foray into this storytelling and honoring?
It was the book came of many, many failed attempts to write this in TV and film over many years.
Why do you think failed?
I think because Hollywood doesn't always want to jump on these stories. We would get sort of down, and Carter helped me with a few TV and movie projects that included this ingredient from my life, or this huge part of my life that I felt I couldn't figure out how to write about on How I Met Your Mother. Jason and Allison's characters, Marshall and Lily, were kind of based on my wife and I. But then I felt this funny, bizarre distance from them as we had a kid that was really complicated. And then those characters had a kid on the show a couple seasons later, but their kid was healthy and easy, and my kid wasn't. And I briefly debated, can we write about that on How I Met Your Mother? Can we show that? Can we like take the show a different way and show that? And in the end, I never figured out how to do it. I don't think anyone was that excited for us to steer into that territory. I'm sure I could have tried, but I never really figured out how to do it. And I said, someday I'm going to write something about this. If only to be a message in a bottle to hopefully find someone else like me, like how I felt. I felt so lonely before we really got part of the Jacobsen Syndrome community on Facebook and through that amazing doctor in San Diego, that we felt so lonely, right? And I'm sure you guys went through this, right? And before you found community, before you found each other, before you were in the business of telling people right away what was going on, I just remember feeling lost in the woods. And then all your friends start having kids, and those kids all seem easy and perfect. And then you don't feel close to those friends anymore because you're bitter that they don't understand and everything's so easy for them, which is not helpful either. There's so many things that if I could go back, I would reprogram my brain. It's very human, I guess.
That's okay.
But it's not helpful.
I'm sorry. I'm going to do something. It's totally weird, and I totally apologize. So Jamie and I just wrote our memoirs. Okay?
Yeah?
So I wanted to ask Jamie, if you were going to write a fiction book, what would it be about?
Well,
and I'm not interrupting you, Craig. I am interrupting you because I want more of what you're saying. But I think it's funny if when you sit down and you've been going through a lot of shit, and what would your fiction book be?
I don't know if it would be a book, but I have been trying to figure out how to develop a show loosely based on my life in the way of everything that I thought limited me, everything that I thought took away from who I am and what you perceive me to be, and that I thought took away from my fulfillment as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a daughter, as a sister, has actually just enriched my life and made my experiences so much more colorful, even through the difficulty and the pain. And I think that that's what we can relate to. And so to think about my life, at least in this moment, inspiring me as a creative and inspiring me as an actor of maybe there's some storytelling to this, as opposed to the 14 years of me being in hiding, being if anybody knew, they would never want to hire me or ever want me around.
I'm so sorry you lived with that heavy.
Well, it was a lot of my own
choices.
Same as you were saying. I think I take a lot of the responsibility of making that choice. But I remember the day that I was announcing that I had.
Wait, can I tell mine really quickly before you go there? Because I know what you're going to say is really important. Mine is like a demon in the woods and some weird shit. And then,
your fiction book?
Yeah, my fiction book. That's all I was saying. My fiction book would be some fucking I don't even know what the hell.
Oh, I don't have that creative of a brain. I can just write what I know.
And you could hear the leaves being crushed as someone's following you, and
oh my God,
suspense.
We want a thriller, a horror,
and then we
thriller?
do a dance. I don't know. This is. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on.
I want to read that book. You've already hooked me.
Me too.
Okay, you're welcome.
Called Blumhouse or whatever it's called.
There's gonna be there'll be a dance number somewhere in there while people
brought to you by.
All right, sorry.
Brought to you by Been Through Some Shit Productions.
That's right. That's right.
Stamp it from Obama.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But what I was saying was I remember like waking up that morning and being like, oh my God, what's life going to be like now that like people know what's going on? And I didn't my life changed because now I had community.
Yeah. Yes.
Now I had other people that were like, I have MS too, and I could talk openly and freely about it. And it wasn't such an isolating, scary experience. And
it must have been such a weight off to be able to talk about it. Right? I mean,
of course.
I'm sure it was scary
and
as
also
fuck too. I'm sure. Yeah.
A clunky road too. And and we're really like trying to, every day just soften and accept everything about life and circumstance. And I think that, especially in your book, giving the 4 different perspectives is such a beautiful gift as well, because it's not just the one person that's living with, the disease or the circumstance. It's everyone around them and how they're affected, because their stories are just as important. And I know this book is going to be so successful because of who you are and where you're writing from and your heart and your intention. And it's just so wonderfully funny and beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
But I really hope that this opens the door for more of your storytelling, because Elliot's kind of like your muse now.
Yeah, he is. He has been such a gift to me, and in ways that I never could have understood when I walked down that bad news hallway. And he's just been, we're a band together. I play guitar, he plays drums. Because I taught him drums, he got so good, he kicked me off. I never get to play drums anymore. And he comes and plays with my band. We do like a How I Met Your Mother fundraiser where we raise money for that amazing doctor I told you, his research about Jacobsen Syndrome in San Diego. And I'm going to invite you to come sing with us, Jamie, in next
I told
June
you
when
I
we
will,
do it
Craig.
again in Power. Yeah, and you said I'm gonna stay on that. I'm gonna call you on that one because you said yes. I'm holding you to this. You heard it. Now it's on the record, too. Now it's recorded on your podcast.
It's on record. You know why? Even more? Because that little pilot that we were trying to do together, I was supposed to sing on, too. So this is like a very full circle moment.
I know. You're such a good singer. That's what I want to be able to play. And so my point there is Elliot gets on the drums at that concert. So we played Bowery Ballroom last year. We did 650 people in that room. Elliot gets up there on the drums and just crushes it for like 4 or 5 songs with the band. I got on guitar and did lead singing, which I apologize to the fans for because Carter's a much better singer than me. But it was one of the greatest moments for me doing that. And just one of those moments where you're like, I just wish I could have seen this. I wish I could have looked into the future and seen this moment when I thought there was only bleakness on this journey. There was only all the loss. The kid I didn't have, the kid we were like supposed to have, the perfect kid we were supposed to have. Guess what? Nobody's perfect anyway. And you don't order a kid out of a fucking catalog, but all these things in our brains, right? Like that you think you're going to have some Instagram perfect life and it's just not how it goes. And then if it's not that easy, perfect thing, you think there's been this loss, right? You've lost something you were supposed to have gotten. Who promised you that thing anyway? First of all, who said it was going to all be great and perfect? And secondly, the gifts that came out of the imperfect version have made me a better human being. There's no doubt. That's him. That's Elliot. That's thanks to him.
That's him. That's thanks to him and you and your heart. How did you advocate for him and for yourself? Because sometimes I think that, especially people that listen to this that are newer to any type of diagnosis, it can feel, it's very difficult. I find a lot of us that are diagnosed with this thing have a difficult time asking for help. I think it's part of the lesson that comes along with this for whatever reason.
Yes, you're right.
How did you do that? And how did you teach Elliot to do that?
The really short answer is my wife is a badass. My wife is a badass. He's so lucky that she's his mom because she just threw elbows and fought her way into understanding everything. She got such a deep understanding of everything, all his challenges, all the therapies he needed, everything we were legally entitled to. Elliot was 18 months. She had him for occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, and a music therapist. Music has been the miracle of his life. Music is his life. That's a little bit of my book too, right, Jamie? There's the character of Emmett. I barely even changed the name. It's Emmett, it's Elliot. But Emmett is based on a few people, not just Elliot, and it is a different syndrome, but there's a lot of Elliot and Emmett. But this music therapist is the reason Elliot pulled up to standing on her giant drum that she had. There's this huge, big hand drum. And he so wanted to play that hand drum when he was like 1.5 that he crawled over to it. He was not much of a crawler either, lifted himself up so he could play on it. It's the first time he stood up. The first time he walked was to walk to that drum. The first time we understood he was starting to understand reading was when he would point to the iPod, like the old school iPod with the little screen that had like the shuffly guy. And he would point to there and he would point to and say, you too. Because he knew like U2 was like a short name, like just you and two. And he would like know which one he would. And we're like, oh, he's starting to read. Everything is because of music with this guy. Music is such a miracle. But along the way, all of those therapies, all of those supports, my wife catching doctors making errors and like having the wrong idea or not quite knowing like, well, no, you can't give a blood thinner to him. He has a platelet function disorder. And he, just she was the expert. We would go to doctor's appointments and she would be the expert. I was like a distant number 2 as the expert and the advocate, but I definitely learned a lot by watching what my wife did. But she just deep dive research. Like she really became this formidable expert in Jacobsen Syndrome and therapies and everything that he needed. So when I was doing How I Met Your Mother, I would take him early in the morning to like a physical therapy gym. He would be doing obstacle courses while I'd be like a red pen scribbling, punching up a script. Then I would take him to his like preschool that was allowing him in the school. It was not a school for like quote special needs kids, but this place, Play Mountain Place in Culver City. And they welcomed him in and they would just let him go to the piano and play on the piano, like whatever he needed. He had a lot of like sensory behaviors. He needed like music and loud sensation. His habit, I think you were getting at this in an earlier question, Jamie, which we would sometimes go out in public and weird shit would happen because he had this sensory seeking behavior of pinching his skin and pinching other people's skin and also head banging. It's so funny because he's the most peaceful, gentle guy. But when he was very young, for a little while, he would bang his head on the side of a table just to get some kind of input. And we'd be at a restaurant and he would like make the silverware jump by smashing his head into the table. And all the heads in the restaurant turn and you feel like everyone looks at you like you're an alien. And those were those lonely moments. And you're going to a playground in LA and it's my wife and I both 2-on-1 making sure he's safe, like, because he doesn't have good sort of sense of distance and depth perception. And every other, parent or like nanny is like on their phone, not paying any attention to the kid.
Yeah.
But my wife and I are like double teaming our son. So like he won't die on a slide, but we want him to be able to be on the playground.
But you, Craig, like talking about that moment of you and your wife and like seeing the other people at the park just kind of mailing it in or whatever, and you guys have to be this way. I've had that experience where like I could just sit and look at people and be like, oh my God, they can just walk and talk and like not think about their movement and just be present in the world. Or like even watching moms run with their kids and do things that I just have never been able to do. It's a very human thing, but I relate to that, so in your vulnerability and you're sharing that seemingly isolating experience, it's actually something we all share. We all have things that we're hiding that make us feel alone or different or shameful for whatever reason. And you're helping release that stigma.
Yeah, well, honestly, you are too. Like, it's really nice to relate to you guys about these things. And I'm sure you've had to learn how to be, whether you wanted to or not, right? It's like the gift you never asked for. You've probably both had to learn to be like medical experts. You've had to learn about your body. You've had to learn how to self-advocate. You've had to learn what you can do, what you can't, what boundaries you need to draw. All of these things that a lot of people don't have to think about in the same ways. And that's the answer to your question. My wife really became that superhero for Elliot. You've had to become that superhero for yourselves, for your own bodies, which is interesting.
Well, your wife, like knowing like he's still worth it to try all of these therapies, to try all of these things, like see what's going to help him. Like I've been on a, 25-year journey of like trying this, that didn't work. Well, now I'm going to try this and I'm going to try this. And as frustrating and as exhausting as it can be, I have to every once in a while be like, I'm so worth it. Like, even though I have this like seemingly progressive degenerative disease, I want to still try.
My daughter, Sadie, she has something called POTS, which a lot of people may not know about. It is a chronic illness, and it's really hard to watch her with that. She also has misophonia. I don't know if you know what misophonia is, where chewing, breathing, anything makes her go completely fucking insane. Jamie and I advocate for ourselves, but advocating for your child is even more important because that's the reason we live, man. That's the reason we live.
By the way, my son was incredibly sound defensive and had all these sensory sound things. When we couldn't go to a baseball game or a concert without him wearing...
That sounds like misophonia.
Yeah, I think he had basically a version of that. And he had to wear like those noise-canceling headphones all the time and he loved music more than anything. It was so weird because it was like those two things didn't fit together. And then one day, he just didn't have that anymore. We go to fucking Pearl Jam concerts at Madison Square Garden. And like, he just is over that one. And like, he can play in the band. It's really cool.
Sadie goes to Chili Peppers concerts because they're part of our family.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and she goes to like raging concerts and she's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting outside talking to a friend, she's like breaking the windows going, can you shut the fuck up? Like she can't handle the whispery sound. So I don't know if that's the same for,
well, it's a variation.
for Elliot, but
Yeah.
Well, look up misophonia because it's a really real thing. There's a movie with Kate Blanchett. I think it's called Tar. Is it called Tar?
Yeah. I just watched that movie. Yeah.
So she's a conductor who has misophonia, which is like the worst thing.
Yeah, she's waking up in the middle of the night hearing like ghostly sounds. Yeah, it's like, I thought about this. I think my son is like that. My son has perfect pitch too. Like we discovered if you
Sadie
hit
does too. She's an amazing singer. She's an amazing singer and
we realized he's
musician.
like 6 years old. Someone hit a glass full of water with a knife and he goes E flat.
Oh my God.
And we go, what the fuck are you talking about? And I don't have perfect pitch.
Yeah.
So
Sadie,
really cool.
Sadie taught herself how to play piano and guitar and can go to rock shows.
Awesome.
But if I breathe, she's like
so
almost
variable.
throwing herself out of the car. She's like, no,
that's funny.
No breathing.
Yeah. See, it's
no lip sounds. No.
It's all fascinating
chewing.
And funny and weird. That's my goal of writing this book is like, there's so much funny, weird, specific, human, ridiculous shit in special needs parenthood. And there's no reason a book about it can't be funny and suspenseful and juicy and a page turner and gossipy and like it's the tone of my book is not inspiring with a capital I. It's not dark because it's special. It's funny. I got a pass on the book early from a potential book agent who said, it just seems too light and happy for a book about special needs. And I had two problems with that. One, my book actually has plenty of pain and like drama in it. A, and B, there is a lot of joy and ridiculousness and laughter in it too, because you fucking have to laugh your way through it. And my son's hilarious. And the journey we've been on is often absurd. And trying to turn your life story into a TV show or movie when you are a parent like me, which I've done and failed at and had executives giving notes on what special needs parenthood is like, who don't know what it's like. And all of that absurdity made it into my book. And that's why it's a comedy. And this person that read it didn't get it.
I think, when we can look at our disabilities and they can feel like they can isolate us or make us different, when you find acceptance around them, they can actually become your greatest attributes and your gifts that not only you give the world, but like you can find your unique, special thing about yourself. I just don't think there are mistakes in this world like that. I've had to have a rooted foundation in faith for me to get through many things, but what that's given me is just a trust in what's happening and how it's happening. And with that trust allows you to, like you said, open yourself up to the world and support. And I just can't say enough about Craig's book. Yes, we're going to do the 5 movie tricks now. But again, it's...
Thank you. I don't think I ever said the name of it. I'm going to do my little pluggy talk show
Yeah, I was just going to say, you do it. Plug all your things right now.
The book is called That's Not How It Happened. It's my debut novel. It comes out November 4th from HarperCollins.
Wow.
And the audiobook, I enlisted some of my dear friends from How I Met Your Mother. The audiobook, it's 4 perspectives, like I said, and the mom and the dad are Josh Radnor and Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother, Ted and Robin.
Very cool.
And they're amazing. And there's an amazing young actor named Kevin Iannucci who is in this awesome movie called Champions. He's this young actor with Down syndrome. He's hilarious. He's such a great actor. He's the voice of Emmett in the book. And so it's the audiobook's great, I think. I think the performances are amazing in it. but it's also a book, so please pick it up. It's my favorite thing, my single favorite thing I've ever written besides How I Met Your Mother. And it was 18 years in the making. And so many of those 18 years, I was trying to also write about this in TV and film and couldn't figure it out. So I did it as a book. And I'm so happy that I did because I think it's right as a book.
It is absolutely, you're exactly right, Craig.
I am so excited to listen to it because I can't read.
It's I would love it if you checked out the audiobook. I think it's going to be a really good,
But we have something very important to do with you because you are a fan of the show.
We're going to do something really quick, Craig.
I know what it is because I've listened to a lot
you know
of
your
episodes.
movies.
Is that okay? Am
right.
I not supposed to know?
Yes.
I know. I'm a fan, so I know. What can I do? I've listened to a bunch of them.
Yeah. So give Christina your movies.
Okay, 5 movies.
And she's going to dissect you.
Don't think about it.
Okay. It is a lot of pressure, and I tried not to think about it ahead of time because I know.
Oh my God, you already did, didn't you?
You said don't think about it. No, you always say don't think about it, so I try not to think about it. But I know what I'm going to do. I know what my angle is. My angle is going to be comfort.
No, you can't have an angle,
there's no angle.
Craig.
Okay, there's no angle. All right, I'm just going to say them. I'm just going to say movies. Ready?
Okay, just go.
Here we go. Arthur with Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli, best romantic comedy of all time. Defending Your Life, Albert Brooks. Field of Dreams. Spinal Tap. The Lost Boys.
What a list. What a fucking list.
It makes no sense though, I realize.
I love it, Craig. What do you mean? Mine was so fucking random.
Okay, you guys talk for just give me like a
This is
Jeopardy.
where we stall while she does the
Jeopardy
this
moment.
is where we stall. This is the part. Okay, so that's not how it happened. How I Made Your Mother is the podcast.
Yes. Which
How's
is also
Carter?
Really fun. Carter's great. Carter and I are playing that band together. We met playing in bands in college. And our band, The Solids, we did the How I Met Your Mother theme song. We did all the stupid songs on the show, like the Robin Sparkles, all the silly things. And we're still playing in the band together. I hope we'll write something else together someday. He wrote his own novel that was great called The Mutual Friend a couple years ago. He in part inspired me to give it a go because he did great. And that's also an awesome book. And we still play music together like basically how we met. That's how I met Carter. Maybe if the timing is right, we can get you up on that stage. And what we do is we play some of the ridiculous music we wrote for How I Met Your Mother, like the comedy songs, like Let's Go to the Mall, all these silly things. And then we play like real songs that we used in the soundtrack of the show. Like we're very proud of the soundtrack of How I Met Your Mother. It's like a little indie movie soundtrack. So we play real songs and the very stupid songs we wrote for the show. And
whatever you want me to do, Craig.
Oh my God. You're such a good singer. It would be so cool if that worked out. I know you're in Texas though, right? We're doing it in New York.
I'm in Austin, but I'm always in New York. My parents are in New York.
You're in New
My
York.
brother's in New York.
Do you still have Long Island family? Because all of my people
Everyone's
are still
on Long Island.
Why do you guys consider
Everyone's
Long
in
Island, New
Plainview.
York? I'm sorry. What?
It is.
Well,
the state is New York.
Not Manhattan.
It's not Manhattan.
I will say that my Brooklyn girl wife definitely catches me when we meet somebody new and I go, yeah, we're both from, New York. And she's like, hang on. He's from Long Island. I'm from fucking Brooklyn. She does like to draw that distinction, I will say.
But I have come to embrace my Long Islandness. If anything, I'm trying to get my accent back. I'm like, fuck it. I was like running away from this thing. I love Long Island. I am a proud Long Islander. Yeah.
I'm there all the time. My mother still lives in my childhood house. Like the house I was crashing my BMX bike outside of. On the cliff over the sand pits, which is now a completely fully developed golf course instead of like a giant death crater in the world that we probably should have fallen down at some point. But all my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, everybody's still out there. I'm out there all the time. I was wondering if you still had folks there.
I was just there 2 weeks ago.
I kind of feel the same way about Long Island. Like I'm embracing it more. I kind of ran away from it a little bit, and I would round up and be like New York and not quite say Long Island because there was a rough patch there, right? In the late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of like Buttafuoco, and there was a lot of like negative press. There was like weird Long Island shit. But there's so many nice things on Long Island too. I like the episode you did with Judd where you guys were both fondly reminiscing about your Long Island days. It was like Long Island's produced a lot of cool people, man. It
has.
Cool Mets fans.
It really has.
Let's go Mets.
That's right.
By the way, Mets. I got Len Dykstra's autograph when I was like 11 years old. My mother, Darryl Strawberry, a lot of the Mets lived in Port Washington.
I was just going to say, if you don't have a Lenny Dykstra...
I have it.
No, Lenny Dykstra, Cutter's dad.
Lenny Dykstra. I have his autograph on a baseball with Darryl Strawberry's autograph. My mom, for my 11th birthday or 12th birthday, stalked Darryl Strawberry, went to his house, which was near my elementary school, knocked on the door and said, "Can you sign this? It's my son's birthday." And Lenny was there with Darryl, hanging out. And he comes in, he goes, "Your son's a Mets fan, give me the ball." And he signs it too. So I got 2 autographs for the price of 1. That's probably the greatest gift I've ever been given in my entire life.
That's
like my Red Ryder
story,
BB gun.
Okay, do you want to know about your stories? Because we actually have to go.
Yes.
We were stalling. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This is a terrible one because it's pretty obvious because you are a comedy writer and you're appreciating the comedy. But I'm getting like this feeling that like, I feel like you stopped getting to be a kid because you had to become something else in this life. And even though it was something that you really wanted, there's a part of you that wishes you may have gone to football games or Mets games or Jets games or anything, but you were already thrust into a different life. And you also don't feel you're as funny as you can be. And the Lost Boys one threw me a little bit. So I think you just wish you were a vampire.
I wish I was a vampire. I mean, there's some upsides. Live forever.
Well, I think is any of that? Am I doing anything?
That is eerily good. That is eerily good. My parents split up when I was like 14, 15 years old. I feel like that's when my childhood ended. I feel like I had to become a grown-up. They were having a horrible time with each other and acting like kids. I was for sure like the 14-year-old grown-up. Like, you just blew my mind with that. I'm sorry, I was stunned into silence there for a moment. That's very right on, Christina. How do you do that? It seems like whenever you do this, you blow the guest's mind, and I count me one of those guests. That's weird.
Yeah.
That is me. That is definitely me.
I'm not going to give away how I do it. It's AI. No, it's
it's great.
I just
Chat GPT.
It's just there's a theme to every movie. There's a reason we're drawn to them. They're the reason that they give us a boner in that sense. Like, sorry, a movie boner. Pardon me, guys. I'm not supposed to say stuff like that anymore. But anyway, just like,
you're fine.
These are the things that give us a lady boner.
And the Lost Boys fits in with your theory because, like, the phrase "the Lost Boys" is like a lost childhood, which fits into your I don't know. I think it all worked. I think,
but it's also having like power and just being like, fuck it all, and I'm gonna go do whatever the fuck I want to do. Right? Like, it's Also, I think I dated most of the Lost Boys. So there you go.
Okay, I'm sad we have to go and we can't hear all of those stories, but I guess we have to wrap it up.
We're going to leave you with that, and I'm just going to read a card. But Craig Thomas, what a gift. I just loved having you here. That's not how it happened. How I Met Your Mother. Please support Craig. He's just such a wonderful light in this world. Thank you for sharing so generously with us.
Thank you guys for having me. It was so much fun. I really appreciate it.
All right, so here's the card. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Loneliness is rarely about empty rooms. It is about carrying words you cannot say and truths you do not feel safe to share. Healing is learning to speak what matters most so you are no longer alone with it. This is the work of letting yourself be seen and known for who you really are.
Wow. Right on point, right on topic.
I know.
And so it is.
So it is.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.